Welcome to Sober.Coffee, a weekly coffee chat sharing experience, strength, and hope for anyone on the sober road to recovery. You can download Sober.Coffee weekly on all podcast platforms and check us out on Instagram at Sober.Coffee Podcast and on Twitter at Sober.Coffee Pod. To learn more about us and to help support these sessions, visit online at Sober.Coffee. Here are your hosts, two guys on their own path to recovery, Mike and Glenn. Let's join them at the coffee shop.
Two guys on a path and a girl on a pony.
Love it, man. Good morning, Mikey.
Hey, good morning, Glenn. How you doing? Good morning, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good,
Karen, great to have you back.
Great to be back.
Yeah, for those who missed it, go back and listen to Karen's story. Good stuff.
Yeah, we've had Karen several times.
Yeah.
Excellent.
She's a repeat offender.
Yes. I love it. It's always great digging in, Karen.
What did you do to get what's the word I'm looking for? You got sentenced to doing coffees with Glenn and Mike. You got
This is really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
Why wouldn't I want to get up on
It's called
at 5 on a
community
Saturday?
service, right?
Yeah, right. Wait, hold on. Karen wants me to sign something here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, now we're good to go.
No, it's funny. We, for those a little bit behind the counter, we get up early to do this. Our studio time starts at 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings. So Karen says to me this morning, she's like, or last night, she's like, hey, can you call me at, 5? I'm like, okay, well, can you call me at 4:55 to get me going so I can call you at 5? So
If you call me at 4:50, I can.
I know. So I called Karen at 3. Rocking and rolling.
Why do you get up this early in the morning? What is driving you into this coffee shop this morning? I mean, I was thinking about that this morning. What am I doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm living my purpose. It's a beautiful thing.
Amen, man. That's what I'm doing.
Somebody might need to hear what we talk about today. So it's important that it's out there in case someone needs it.
Right. That's the beauty of the world that we live in now with technology, which is kind of the beginning of this show. There's, with the pandemic, it changed the way people were recovering. I mean, they went digital. They went digital in a hurry out of desperation. So, we just want to be out there in the universe of digital in case somebody needs some experience, strength, and hope to get them marching down their road to recovery.
Amen, man. Speaking of technology, always got to recognize our technology podcast barista, Brian.
Yeah.
And Audio Hive down in Chicagoland.
Yeah, hold up one second. Wait, Brian, are you awake? All right, good. Yeah, he's good. I got a nod from behind the counter.
That's awesome. So what's our chat this morning? What are we going to cover during our coffee?
I was in a meeting with Karen not so long ago, and she mesmerized me with the story about cleaning her house, which on topic sounds like what? But it just mesmerized me because it connected logic with my desire to recover, and she really kind of marched me through just kind of keeping your house clean and organized and what that does to sobriety. So I thought it'd be great to talk about keeping your house clean.
Now, is that emotionally or is that like physically or both?
Both. It could be. Cleaning house for me is kind of emotionally cleaning house. How to set myself up for success in recovery. When I was new in the program, I had to eliminate people from my life who weren't good for me. People, places, and things, or people, places, and playpens, as a friend of mine calls them, playpens.
Yeah, right.
So I have to realize that, first of all, I'm the one responsible for my own recovery, nobody else. And
You mean your sponsor isn't?
nope. Nope, and it's not fair to put that responsibility on any other individual. So all the choices I make are my own choices. That doesn't mean I don't seek input from time to time, but they're my choices. So I clean the space, like the house of my recovery, I guess. And I declutter, and I get rid of things and people that don't serve me well anymore, or that aren't healthy in my life, people that are toxic to me, or people that don't support me, or people that it's not important to them that I recover. If people don't serve a purpose in my life, then maybe they shouldn't be there. And everybody who comes into our life doesn't have to stay there. Some people come in our lives and they never leave, and other people come and they go. And that's okay. So by doing some of this, I clear my mind. I have a neater space to work, and I can focus now, you know. And then the people that are still in my life, what I do with them is just set healthy boundaries, because I've learned to do that. But that's kind of what I do to prepare my mind, or I guess it's kind of like cleaning house in my head, cleaning my house head, my head house.
There's so much good stuff there. Is it a lot of work? I mean, I know that, and you've got more sobriety than I do, and so I asked that question because I know I'm still in the process of reshifting kind of who's in my world and who's not in my world, and sometimes it's a little bit challenging. I've been told that it's the right thing to do, but it doesn't make it easy. How has the process gone for you? And
well, I have, there's tools. We have tools that help us get there, and I don't know how much. Whoever got up first has the most sobriety today, because that's really all that matters. Not how many days are
probably
behind
Mikey.
me.
No. You guys were calling each other at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, you're right.
He just stayed up. That's all.
Yeah, right.
But the tools that I have help me get there. I have phone numbers in my phone at all times, and not just my sponsor, but many people that I can call, friends in the program, and I have to assume that sometimes I'm going to need to dial that phone, and when the phone rings, I pick it up. Yesterday, I did get a call from a girl that I had met in a meeting. She collected phone numbers in the meeting, and she was going down the list. And she needed to talk. And she said, I've been calling and nobody, you're the first one that answered. I said, that's why you have more than one phone number in your phone. So kudos to her for, keep going down the list. I also have all the books. I read the big book. I read the 12 and 12. I read the 24-hour reflections, the Bible, any other inspirational, anything that can help keep me out of my own head. I'm a fan of Drop the Rock. Keep it simple. I'm a fan of the 4 Agreements. That was life-changing for me.
What's that one?
It's called the 4 Agreements. It's not a recovery-related book necessarily.
No, but it's a great life.
Boy, is it a life lesson. I read it at least every year. I give it as a gift.
That's awesome.
I don't know how. I buy it like a dozen at a time. They have this pretty box set, like a gift set. I buy it 6 or 8 or 10 of them, and I give them to people as gifts all the time.
We should put that up in the resource room.
Yeah, totally.
Really
in fact,
good.
I think they have one like the 5th Agreement.
They
now,
do
right?
have the 5th Agreement now.
Yeah, so I read that. So let me go back, because you mentioned about getting people out, right, as a way of keeping, and that really clicked for me with my Ferris wheel story. When I look at life as a Ferris wheel, sometimes you're on the top and sometimes you're at the bottom, and at the bottom you're not really happy, and at the top, things are going great. and I have a picture in my office, and it has these beautiful gold cars, and what I'm reminded of it. It took me about a year for this to click, but it's very important who are in those cars with me and going around the first wheel of life. And one of the things I had to do, and this is easily said, was very hard, is I had to get out of a relationship. Excuse me, that was not good for me. It was painful to get out of. It was a yo-yo. I was in, I was out, I was in, I was out over years. It was an 8-year relationship. And I read this book from Dr. Henry Cloud called Never Go Back. And in that book, he said, look, when you have to get people out, when you have to get out of a relationship and get people out of your life, if they're a key part of your life, he said, your life's going to suck for 6 months. And he just flat out put it that way, and he set the expectation, right? He said, it's going to suck for 6 months. He said, but after that, I'll guarantee you, he said, your life will be better than it ever was. So for some reason, I had faith in him. I believed him. And, of course, it was 7 years ago now. I went through a disastrous relapse, and I said, I'm out. I'm never going back. And after 5 months, I wrote him, and I said, look, I listened, I had faith in what you said. I said, but you were wrong. I said, it didn't happen in 6 months, it happened in 5. And it is so important to get things, and it's not easy. It comes across really easy, but that was a very painful, hard time of my life mentally. And changing my environment and changing everything and really taking a risk. but man, was it worth it. So I just wanted to underline that one point that you made about getting people out. There's no way I would be successful in that situation. There's no way I could stay sober.
Right.
And I proved it.
Right.
Well, we're not talking about people just in romantic relationships either.
Sure.
See,
It could be work situations. It could be anything.
It could be just friends that you had, or it's hard once someone's in your life, and then you decide, I don't care for that person anymore. Or especially as we get sober and we change, we don't have the same interests as some of those people anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to have a breakup, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. I've had to do it, and I finally had a conversation with the lady because she would call me and I'd say, no, I'm sorry, I got something to do that night. And finally I just said, listen, our friendship isn't working for me. We have different goals in life right now.
Right.
And for personal reasons, she wasn't good for me. So it was a one-way street. Right. And today I understand what a one-way street feels like. Mm-hmm. So, see, when I was drinking, I didn't know that. I would let anybody take advantage, because as long as I could get what I wanted.
Sure, right.
So I think differently today about relationships. See, I understand today how precious life and time is. Mm-hmm. And the older I get, the faster it moves. But the more I realize, like this, I don't enjoy this. Mm-hmm. I'd rather get up at the crack of dawn and meet with you guys and share with some people than to go have dinner tonight with people I don't want to go have dinner with.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. As they say, life's too short.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm also aware of, people that are out of my life or people that don't support my sobriety.
Bingo.
I mean, I had people challenge me, why do you have to go to another meeting? And just they weren't supportive. And if, I had to make the decision, hey, if you're not supportive of my sobriety, you're out.
It's been so long. Can't you just have one?
Yep. Oh, I love those people.
See, those are the people that I don't have space for. Right. The ones that want me to do what they're doing.
Right.
I just don't have time for that. I have to invest my time as wisely as I try to invest my dollars. Mm-hmm. It's an investment. So you only have so much to work with.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going into a couple of business deals with some guys, and I don't tell them my whole story, but they're like, hey, let's go out and have some beers. I'm like, you know what? I don't drink, right. And I just tell them, I said, look, there's a very good reason why I don't drink. I don't do that stuff. And, if I get pushback from them, I'm not doing a deal. I mean, they're just, but 90% of the time they get it.
They respect
and they're
that.
very supportive. They're like,
Sure.
hey, man, no problem. Let's go to lunch.
You know what I figured out? Most people really don't care. Hey, let's go out for a beer.
Unless they have a problem.
Unless they got a break.
Right. When I go to dinner with a group of people and I order a Coke or water,
Nobody cares.
nobody asks me why I'm not drinking.
Yeah, right.
Nobody cares. It
Right.
doesn't matter to them.
But it's amazing, and I vividly recall, when I first got sober and going out, I'm like, everybody knows I'm not drinking.
Right, they're gonna know.
Yeah, guess what, Mike? The world isn't all about you.
Exactly.
People don't really care if you're drinking or not.
They don't care.
No. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. So people, your books. What other tools do you use to help you stay emotionally and
Journaling is
clean?
really important for me,
Really?
especially in the beginning. What I would do when I have a business meeting or I'm going to meet with a client and there's a million things in my head, I do what I call a brain dump. I learned it at a seminar somewhere, and I thought it was ridiculous when I heard it. And I love it. It's brilliant. So all that stuff that's floating in my head that I don't want to forget, I just scribble it all out on a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. Now it's out of my head. My head is clear. I can focus on what I need to focus on. Mm-hmm. So I like to do that. In the very beginning, I did it before a meeting. And I would write everything down and get it out of my head. Then in the meeting, when someone said something that made sense to me, I would jot that down. And then before long, I had journals and journals of just the best stuff I ever heard at meetings. Right. And I could take this out. I could read it. I could refer to it when I needed to. It was amazing. That I have a library probably 5 inches of just notebooks filled, and every line is the best thing I heard at that meeting.
Right.
So imagine the best thing you heard at every meeting you ever went to.
Right.
I should write a book called pearls of wisdom or something.
Right,
Like,
right.
I think Mikey's got
best shit I ever heard.
812 of them or something.
Yeah, I did. In my first 500 meetings, I do the same thing. It's funny. I thought that, I don't know if this is a politically correct word, but I thought journaling was a chick thing, right? Guess what? It's a guy thing, too.
It's a human thing.
It's a human thing.
It's a people thing.
Yeah, thank you. Now,
Just a people thing. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, so I am not a journaler. But at one point, they had this thing called 3 pages. Have you guys heard of it? So you're supposed to wake up every morning and just write out 3 pages. Just let it, like you said, Karen.
Flow.
Just let it flow, right? So I did this probably a year into sobriety, and I'm glad I threw these away because they were
some scary stuff. Huh?
they were so hateful. And I'm just thinking back, and everything in my life I just hated. I just wasn't in a good space yet, and I just ranted. It wasn't 3 pages of like thoughts. It was 3 pages of hateful ranting. So I'm glad I threw those away. But I think that might be something that I get value out of now, because I think just comparing the two, right, just shows some growth, I think, positive growth.
Right.
Well, you're creating your own resource content.
Sure.
So having those notebooks, especially earlier on, that was so powerful to me. I mean, there were times it was the middle of the night, someone didn't pick up the phone, I didn't know what to do, and I would open those notebooks that I had
see
filled
these
up.
pearls
and
of wisdom.
I was like, oh, okay, wait, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I would have these to refer to, so it was fantastic.
Good stuff.
Keep meetings. I always keep meeting schedules with me, especially when I'm traveling. I started looking. We have a place in Florida now, so I started looking for meetings down there, and I started going to some online meetings, so that when I'm down there now and I, go to that fellowship club, I'll see some faces I recognize.
Right.
I have to have some connections down there.
Right.
It's important because when I go there, my illness will go with me.
So you don't just fit in a meeting when it's convenient. I just hear you say you
I
schedule
plan
your
them.
life around?
That's what I was just
plan
going
them
to
ahead of
say,
time.
Karen. I was just going to say proactive planning.
Absolutely.
Purposeful planning.
Absolutely, always. If I do it the other way, and there have been times in my life where I did do it the other way, it becomes less important. When I say, oh, here's everything I want to do today, where can I fit in it? Oh, there's no time for a meeting.
Yeah,
well.
Right.
But if I make the meeting the most important thing in the day, and I say, well, I have to do this today. All right, so I'll be home at 9:30. Then I start scheduling. I schedule my clients around meetings.
Right.
I schedule, medical appointments and stuff around meetings. There's certain meetings in the week that I won't miss, and I work around those. And those meetings, they're non-negotiable items in my calendar.
That's fantastic. So, go ahead.
No, I just sorry, man. I'm still getting over my illness from weeks ago. I was just thinking as far as cleaning house emotionally, right? I think of the head and the heart, right? And when I think of cleaning house in the head, I think of I use the term head trash, and I have to clean out my head trash, but then I also need to replace it with better things, and. And as I do that with the head trash, as we were talking about, cleaning house, I also thought about physically cleaning house. And for me, early in sobriety, I had junk all over the place. In fact, I had a storage unit that had stuff that I thought was important to me from, my marriage, from the different houses I lived in, and every time, for years, every time I went to that storage unit, I would relapse. I just hated where I was at. I hated the memories. It was a reminder of me that I was a failure, that I failed. It reminded me of commitments that I didn't keep. And so every time I went there, I just couldn't handle that. I needed to escape. And every time I went there, maybe 12 times, I relapsed. And then finally, physically cleaning house, right? When I'm decided to live a different life and physically now, I went to that storage unit. I took a sober brother and we cleaned that sucker out, never looked back. And it felt so good. But it also means, hey, I didn't live that neatly, right? When I was drinking. So I had to clean house physically also. And it means cleaning out the bottles, getting rid of all the empty bottles. And because I didn't want to come across a half bottle at some point. I didn't want to come up against that. So I got a sober brother and we went through all my stuff. And I remember going to my tax attorney. I opened up a briefcase and I had a half a bottle of vodka in there. I kind of missed that one, but
where was the funniest place that you found a bottle?
That was probably it. Because I'm in there working on an IRS deal, and I'm trying to explain to him my problem with alcohol, and he's rolling his eyes, right? And so just by chance, I had 2 briefcases. I brought them in, and one literally had a half a bottle of Kettle in there, and I'm like, geez.
I actually hid one in my wife's drawer. Now because I ran out of my own spots. I thought, how often can she go in this drawer? Right,
man, that's creative. So I think, and just emotionally, it helps to get in there and scrub that bathroom.
Yeah, right.
The first one of the sober livings I went in, the first day I go in, the bathroom's filthy. You got 8 guys in there. I mean, I scrubbed that thing with a toothbrush, and I just felt better. So cleaning up, getting your laundry done on time, getting the trash out. I remember calling my sponsor, telling him I took the trash out. I was so proud of myself. He's like, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, and we think it's a big deal. Wait, I folded the clothes as soon as they were out of the dryer, and I put them away.
I know.
You feel so much better. It's actually rewarding.
Yeah. Well, this is good stuff. Any wisdoms of Pearl on the way out of this morning's coffee? What would you hold on to?
Excuse me. Well, I just think that if someone out there is struggling with, like, how do I get ready for this, or how do I start to get myself in a place, learn to meditate. Just sit for 1 minute quietly with your eyes closed and no phone in your hand. And the next time, maybe you could do 2 minutes or 3 minutes and then 5 minutes. You can go to prayer. There's always someone out there listening. You can, and even if you don't believe that, at least you let it out of you, and it's not on your chest anymore. It's not on your heart. It's out of you. Volunteer. There are so many opportunities in life every single day to see how fortunate you are. And there's always somebody who needs something, whether it's financial or a meal or physical assistance or just company. I mean, there's some people that just, there's a lot of elderly that just need company. Like, go visit people. All you have to do is, my husband used to go to the nursing home or the assisted living, and there was a gentleman who couldn't see anymore. He would just read to him. You just sit there and read to him. That's it. So you can go for a walk. You can go for a bike ride. You could, whack some golf balls.
Get out of your head.
Anything that'll get you out of your head. And then you're in a clear space to start working the steps and get the things done that you need to do to get to a place where life doesn't suck anymore.
Right. I think we're there this morning. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks,
Mikey. That's
Mikey.
awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good to see you guys.
All right, man. We'll see you. Hey, you come back again?
Clean house.
I will.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks. See you, Glenn.
Thanks for joining us for today's coffee chat. To contact the show, email us at podcast@Sober.Coffee. If you need immediate help, the AA hotline is 800-839-1686. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800-273-8255. Remember, Mike and Glenn are sharing their own journey on the path to recovery. Any suggestions, medical or otherwise, are their own experiences and should not be viewed as professional advice. See you next week, and remember, there is a solution.